Becky Lynch's time in the WWE is apparently running short, with the company already preparing for life past the four horsewomen with the pushes of Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan and more incoming. They want to make sure that you don't miss Mercedes Money, you don't miss Charlotte Flair, you don't miss Bayley or Becky Lynch in their time away. However, Becky Lynch isn't gone from the company yet, with her contract set to expire next year at close to the same time as Drew McIntyre. Both she and Seth Rollins are currently negotiating brand new limited date contracts that would put them close to, if not on a par, with Roman Reigns, the top star in the industry right now. With Hollywood calling and major job offers on the card for Lynch, let's break down what's next for Becky Lynch, the man herself, and how much it includes the WWE. Comment below what you think she should do next, and let's jump straight into it. Since Becky Lynch returned to the WWE at SummerSlam 2021, she has been actively negotiating a new limited date contract, inspired not necessarily by Roman Reigns, but by the successes of limited date contracts for Randy Orton and for AJ Styles. We've seen this sort of contract also come into play for Edge, and a much more fractured and subdued one for Logan Paul for Pat McAfee. Seth Rollins has since followed suit. A contract like this guarantees them more family time, more rest and relaxation, in many ways more money, or at the very least more money per appearance, but the WWE are not offering a push with these contracts to the same level as a Roman Reigns. It's one of the reasons Randy Orton and AJ Styles dropped down the card. With limited dates, they don't want to give them all the push in the world. It's just that, let's say, Roman Reigns was a very good negotiator. We first reported here during spoiler warning on Friday that these negotiations are now gaining pace because Lynch's contract is getting closer to expiring. This has since been confirmed by Fightful Select on Monday behind their paywall, so thank you, Sean. Becky has already been promised somewhat limited dates, but these have been swallowed up by injury and rarely include back-to-back weeks off. Instead, she has limited appearances that vanish, such as, for example, this week's Raw. Becky would be the third horsewoman to request breaks after Sasha Banks when she was still wrestling for the WWE, and more recently Charlotte Flair. I will say that Becky Lynch is more inspired by Sasha Banks than she is by Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair essentially was promised a year off, and in fact only returned before the Royal Rumble to put over Rhea Ripley because of Ronda Rousey requesting to lose the championship and move into the tag team division. The WWE could have put it, for example, on Raquel Rodriguez and had her take on Rhea Ripley. They decided Charlotte Flair was a better choice. When it comes to Becky Lynch, this does open some avenues, but when it comes to the breaks that they're looking for, they want her back for all the big shows. The Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, and of course, Saudi Arabia. WrestleMania. Hollywood are supposedly very interested in Becky Lynch, and her agent is picking her up quite a lot of job offers. Big job offers have come in for a number of WWE wrestlers, including Roman Reigns himself, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, and even more offers for The Miz. Apparently there's also some minor interest in Austin Theory, which is honestly quite nice to hear that they're going a little bit further down the card for their talent. These are fairly big offers, which would mean quite a big sum coming to the wrestler, but also quite a big sum coming to the WWE, because the WWE owns the name Becky Lynch. We'll be coming on to this more, but she does not necessarily own the name Becky Lynch. It's one of the reasons she has changed the name Rebecca Quinn. Endeavour, as they are taking over the WWE, are looking at different routes to try and get wrestlers over, and one of the easiest ways to do so is to go global, to go to a wider field, to go to a level where you can essentially say to a wrestler, we want you to get over outside of wrestling and then come back to wrestling. This is something they initially tried with Elias when it comes to Elias's album, for example. In addition to this, under the Endeavour deal, WWE film production is looking to relaunch with an element of funding coming from Endeavour. Endeavour in particular want to turn wrestlers into global sensations, including movie star deals, and let's just say they want to take a cut of the profits to do so. Unfortunately, I have my doubts that Endeavour will get their way with this one, because Becky Lynch is said to have a very different plan. Becky and Seth went on Celebrity Family Feud with a number of other WWE wrestlers. We've also seen things such as Wheel of Fortune. We've seen appearances at gaming conventions by Xavier Woods. We've seen Liv Morgan having a producer of live events with her at a basketball game. And recently I reported that she's taking an element of public relations training with an intention for her to become global in that regard. Of course, with Liv Morgan it became a meme. A May. I May made it. Everyone may memed it. Everyone. Endeavour, with Vince at the helm, wants to take stars global, and this is the biggest part of their strategy to do so. It's not just store openings. It's not just appearing for Make-A-Wish and the like. It's not just the Be A Star project, all of which was designed to get wrestlers more over through what Stephanie McMahon referred to as philanthropy. It's just a different way to get a name over. Part of this is they're very interested in having wrestlers appear in films under their wrestling names, but the wrestlers themselves don't always agree. If you look back to, for example, Total Divas, Total Bellas, someone like CJ Perry, wrestling in the WWE as Lana, wanted to use her own name and build her own brand, and she is far from the only person. Now, some people have been very successful with this formula. The Miz, one of the biggest, because ultimately his name is not The Miz, but it does mean that you get Miz and Mrs. You get Miz as the Marine. The Miz has built a career off this. John Cena made it huge, as did The Rock before The Rock changed his name formally to Dwayne Johnson, so that the WWE got a little bit less of the cut. John Cena, he owns his name, he's fine, but others, like Randy Orton for example, less so. He did appear in a Marine film, but has not necessarily been too bothered about any further films since. Becky Lynch is looking to build a future, like so many of the other wrestlers there, but particular the women's division are looking to build their futures going forwards. And as such, Becky Lynch would rather be known, at least in Hollywood, as Rebecca Quinn. She's taken the opportunity to make this change in changing her social media profile names. It's cost her the infamous blue tick on Twitter, but let's be fair, the WWE will pay the $8 a month, and we all know that they will. Drew McIntyre did something similar without changing his name. His name is not technically Drew McIntyre, just for anyone who may have thought differently on that one. As regards the name change, this has created an issue for the WWE, and it is hampering contract talks a little bit. WWE want to have the power to approve use of wrestlers on TV shows and films and personally get credited for them. That means that they want her to wrestle and film and record under the name Becky Lynch, because they own the name, they will get royalties, and their asset will grow. They want Becky Lynch to become as big as she possibly can, and then they want to keep her on TV week in and week out so they can benefit from it. Becky Lynch, however, wants a limited date contract in which she could go out into the world and build her own brand independent of the WWE. This is what the artist formerly known as Sasha Banks is doing with the Mercedes brand, and it has inspired a lot of people to seek out the same. The contract that Lynch is looking for is not necessarily going to be one that the WWE intend to sign. There's a while before this matters though. Negotiations have started, but not with any particular gusto until recently, because we are roughly a year away from the day the contract goes bye-bye. Subscribe for more updates. I will keep you informed on this, but personally, I believe Becky Lynch is far too valuable to the WWE to say no to. Instead, I suspect she'll be the first person to defy the Endeavour project and, if you'll forgive the pun, change the game.